Welcome to the Sussex Smuggler. I'm Captain James Bollinger, and I've got another story to tell you. This one's quite a favourite of mine, and it might even send some shivers down your spine. As some of you might know from the channel, I've recently been exploring the island of Portland off Dorset, and I went on a walk up to the High Angle Battery that was part of the Victorian fortifications built in 1890. And I made a film around there. And it's all available on the channel, by the way, that you can view it. And I took some photographs, and you can find some of those photographs on the Sussex Smuggler Facebook page. And yeah, have a good look round, familiarise yourself with them. And I thought, let's do a bit more research on it, and I have. And I was told by a family member not so long ago that when I was a child, a group of us went up there with some local kids as the adults went to the pub and had a pint nearby. We went off exploring around the island, and we came across the High Angle Battery. But of course, we wouldn't know what it was at the time. It was just an interesting place. So, and what intrigued us was the miniature kind of railway tracks that were around, and the tunnels, and the caged gates, and the buildings and that. But just to give you a feel um, of what the high angle battery's like, bear with me. I shall put click on my presentation icon here, and I should be able to show you an overview of the high angle battery. So there we go. That should be coming on your screen about now. There we go. How about that? Yeah, there you go. I mean, it's a lot bigger than what you see in that picture, but that gives you an idea of the overview of it. And just to talk you through, there we go. It's another picture, the kind of building that you get all these subterranean tunnels and ammunition, or what would have been ammunition areas for keeping shells and gunpowder and explosives and that. And the role of it was to protect the navy down below, and if the island was ever going to get invaded, the guns would be set at such a high angle that the shells would go up and down onto ships' decks at such force that it would sink them and damage them. Here's another idea. Gives you, a better idea. There's the kind of tunnels you get there, and there's up the top you can see Victoria Regina VR 1892. Gives you an idea how old they are. And you get places that like this one as well, that are open and are kind of inviting. There you can see the railway where the ammunition would be carted out of, and then out to the gun emplacements that you see in this. Hang on, let me switch some of these off. You will see what I mean, hopefully. These gun emplacements here between the two blocks, they'd have the high angle guns that would be pointing up to fire up and over. Now, the high angle battery on Portland was and the Verne Citadel were built on an old ancient hill fort, and of course they were very precious, holy places to the ancients back in the day. But the Victorians just ripped it all up and built their forts there, regardless of anything. And there were dolmen and barrows in the area that were just simply destroyed, which would have had ancient bodies, dead bodies in them, or the remains of dead bodies. And some of those barrows can still be seen around the island. If you look at my video, Hiram's Walk, on the channel, you'll see that I've got a picture of one, and there are several along on the walk. But getting back to this, probably in the 1980s when we were kids, we explored the High Angle Battery, and of course the tunnels. And I'll show you back again. Particular, could have been this one. I don't honestly know. There we go. That one. Hang on. There we go. That one, and some of the subterranean ones. They all, of course, were fascinating to us, and they all had an echo. So of course we dared to go in there, and we started making wolf noises and howling and creepy noises, as you do, and winding each other up. So we saw, when we entered one of these tunnels, a figure at the end, what looked like to be a person, and we started making these howling noises and eerie noises, and the echo would carry on, but it couldn't have been anyone. We wasn't, because nothing was going on, no movement from that person at the other end of the tunnel. So one of us decided to run up there, and of course it turned out to be nothing. So we carried on with our eerie noises and howling and general mischief behaviour. And when we stopped, we could hear ourselves, and then we heard some stones being thrown, and then one of the stones hit one of us on the back of the head. So that was it. We decided to leave the tunnel. So we ran out of the tunnel, up the embankment, and looked round to see a figure of an old Victorian soldier laughing at us as we left. One of us said to the others, "Look, look, look, turn round and look." We all turned round and looked. No one was there. And the impression that we got was that I don't think that the spirits that are there wanted us there, and it was their way, I suppose a kind way. They could have done something a lot worse, of clearing us out of the place and moving us on. But I did hear that a paranormal group, I did read this in a book, a paranormal group went up there, and one of them, I think he might have been a cameraman or one of those operators that have the like ghost detector gadget things. I don't know what they're called. You'll have to forgive me. But he fainted apparently in the tunnel, and when they got him out, the front of his head was cut. So he'd had a blow of some sort, as if he'd hit a grating or a bit of stonework in the tunnel. It's been reported in a book that I've read, but he maintains that he never made any contact whatsoever with anything. But they cleared off and left the place. They simply didn't want the spirit didn't want them there. It might have been that they were getting too close and making too much contact. So they sometimes, I understand from psychics, that they can sometimes just repulse you away in some shape or form. We were lucky because I think we were recognised as kids, but you've got to treat this place with respect. Yes, it is of massive historic importance, but the historic importance might not be so obvious because of the area and the ancient hill fort that was once there. And of course, it's worth mentioning as well that all the fortifications and the harbour arm were all built by convicts in the Victorian era. And at the local St George's Church, there is an area where convicts have died labouring on the fortifications and the harbour arm. And it could be, it's not a soldier, it could be that the spirit is in fact a convict, or he could be an ancient that was there in the 1st century, an Iron Age man or woman that has had their spirit and their livelihood at the time disturbed in some way by the excavation. But if you have a look, if you ever explore up there, it is a bit eerie, to say the least. But it's worth a look around. And I understand nowadays that there's been announced they're going to get some funding to make it more of a historic of historic importance. And it's worth a look. But you just got to think right back to all the ancients that were disturbed there, possibly the convicts that have died. I don't think it was ever used in anger, in war, or anything like that, but there would have been a lot of misery, both from the ancients and convicts, in using and building the high angle battery. But I thought I'd share that spooky story with you, and it is a bit eerie over there, I must admit. But you can check more of it out on my walk around video on the channel, and you'll see for yourself. Thanks for watching. Happy Halloween. I'm Captain James Bollinger, and you've been watching The Sussex Smuggler. Goodbye.